All right, so this is a Facebook comment that I read and responded to. I just want to talk about it because, in this day and age that we're living in, everybody's a slut, men and women, right? But see, again, and I have to reiterate this because many people don't understand, and women like to equate the two. They like to say, oh, men and women are the same, but they're not, okay? It's infinitely easier for a woman to get laid than it is for a man to get laid. That's just a fact. Sorry to say. Women can go outside, smile at a guy, and they'll be in the guy's bed within, 10, 15 minutes. And again, and I do fault men for that to some degree, and women do as well. And I've said this, again and again on my channel. Men need to have higher standards. People in this culture just think, oh, sex is sex. There's nothing anyway. But now in this culture that women are sleeping around and there's no stigma whatsoever about it. Everybody's cool with it. Everybody's just looking the other way. So sex and porn culture is just normal now. You're going to have a lot of women sleeping around. And what are they going to do? They're going to act like it's okay, and they're going to come up with narratives, and they're going to come up with stories as to how and why that's okay. So now here I'm reading one of these stories, and I'm going to read it to you guys. So this is, again, this is just a random Facebook post. This is a guy who said this, and here it is. He says, many men like to make fun of women for not settling down and instead aiming to have many different partners. They make claims like they're going to get all used up, they'll grow old and miserable, childless, living only with cats, and or they'll never be treated with respect. However, almost to the contrary of these statements, women that I've talked to said that from experience, having many partners and whoring has actively boosted their life. Now, when I say that, does that sound normal? Does that sound like it's going to actively boost your life? Whoring around is going to make you have a better life. Does that sound even rational? Anyway, let me keep going. Women that I've talked to said that from experience, having many partners and whoring has actively boosted their life and made themselves feel more free and confident, okay? Many women have stated that in their experience, by having many partners and sleeping with many men, they're more likely to find the partner that'll give them a long-lasting and healthy relationship. That sounds like hot garbage, doesn't it? It sounds like some hot bullshit, right? And it's almost opposite every time of what most men claim happens. Going by this, we should actively be encouraging promiscuity for women. Wow. And you know what though? I bet you anything that a lot of people actually think this today. They really do. So, and young women who are slutting around. So, boy, I mean, does that sound normal? You can't even read it without sounding like that sounds funky. But let me read my response to it. So here's what I said. I said, I don't buy it. One, you let women tell you what to think about it. They always lie. Women mostly lie by omission. They leave out all kinds of details. Sorry, let me focus this. They leave out all kinds of details, such as, see, I'm starting from the very top up there, such as STDs, bad breakups, broken hearts, having unwanted pregnancies, etc. They lie to make you think they're doing just fine, blah, blah, when really they likely went through a bunch of bullshit that not many people know about, because women don't talk about the negative crap they go through. They don't. You might see some frustration on some of their Facebook posts, or you might see them lash out with a meme or two here and there, but they're not going to go into detail about the fact that, a guy broke up with them and broke their heart, or they caught feelings, or some other guy caught feelings and they had to cut him off and he won't leave her alone, or she got an STD, or she got pregnant, she had to get an abortion, which is very common. I mean, 500,000 abortions a year in America on average through Planned Parenthood. Sorry, very, very common. And 78% of those abortions are from women who just feel like they don't want to have a baby. And how many of those women are married? Probably not a lot. I mean, I'll give it a fair amount. We'll say 20% of that 78% are married. I doubt it's a lot. I doubt a lot of married people are having abortions. I think married people are going to be smarter, and they're going to know to, take the pill, or they're going to know to, take some precautions not to get pregnant. But the women who do get pregnant are the ones who are out stupid sledding around, because you kind of got to be stupid to sled around in a way, because it's dangerous. And people don't talk about that. They don't talk about how dangerous it is, because we live in a culture that worships sex. Anyway, they lie to make you think they're doing just fine, blah, blah, when really they likely went through a bunch of bullshit that not many people know about, because women don't talk about the negative crap they go through. Why would they? Because then they'd just be advertising to everyone that they're a slut. Now, on the one hand, yes, a lot of stigma has been taken away from being a slut, right? We don't judge them to the point that they're ostracized from society like it used to be in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, whatever, till the 1960s, when everything changed through the civil rights movement and second wave feminism came in and took away that stigma. But there is still somewhat of a stigma there. They still don't want to be judged. On the one hand, we can tell, we know you're a slut. We can tell the characteristics. We can tell by the way you move. We can tell by the pictures you take. We can tell by the way you talk. We can tell by the way you dress. Anyway, we can tell you're slutting around. Guys, there's just easy tells, right? But women, they kind of, anyway, I mean, it used to be they kind of would leave somewhat of a doubt. Nowadays, it's kind of not anymore, really. Nowadays, it's whatever. Anyway, there's still a little bit of social stigma there. Still a little bit. They don't want everybody to know their business. So they're being duplicitous in that as well. On the one hand, everything's fine. I could be a slut and nobody cares. But on the other hand, you're not going to advertise it, because something within you, your conscience is saying, I don't want people to know. Sorry, just the truth. 2, women who sleep around almost always develop a bad personality character in some way. They do so because they deal with a lot of bullshit from all angles. Not just from the men they encounter, but from their friends and family as well. So what I mean by this is not to say that they're getting judged per se by everybody, because they don't tell everybody they're a slut. They don't advertise, I just slept with 5 guys last week. They don't say that. But their friends know, and their family knows that, she's been single for 5 years and she keeps having these guys around, but nobody's settling down with her. So they kind of could tell after a while that she's slutting around, right? So their friends and their family, it's not that they judge her or ostracize her or talk down on her. What they say is, hey, you should settle down, and they pressure her into stop being a slut. They pressure her in a loving way. They deal with a lot of bullshit from all angles, and from the men they encounter, because guys catch feelings. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Guys catch feelings, so they deal with bullshit from guys too, who want to settle down with them, but they don't want to settle. They just want some dick. And they deal with a lot of bullshit. So it changes their personality and their character. They become more shrewd, right? They learn to lie. They learn to creep around. They learn to be deceptive and manipulative, right? These become their character traits. They have to do that to protect their lifestyle. Number 3, they almost always become jaded, cold, and cruel, and they pretty much have to. They have to cut guys off who want to love them. A lot of guys fall in love after being intimate with women over a period of time, and women can cut off their feelings on the drop of a hat. Many men can't, so the men get their heart broken. This is true. Women are able to emotionally shut on and shut off their feelings. Men can't. Not only that, again, I have to go back to this point, which is that men are in a scarcity mindset because women have all the power over the sexual market. Meaning women have the power of choice. They've got abundance naturally. Men are always hitting on them. Men, we don't have that. We don't have that luxury. Women are not hitting on us. We're the ones who are biologically, culturally, socially expected to do the chasing. Women do the choosing. What does that mean? That means men are naturally in a scarcity mindset. Men are naturally in a scarcity mindset. And the guy who's not naturally in a scarcity mindset, he's the ideal man that all the women want to sleep with, because he's in abundance and he doesn't need them. Now relationships are so toxic and jaded, or even sexual relationships are so toxic and jaded. All relationships are so toxic and jaded that the person who cares the least has the most power. The person who cares the least implies that that person has lots of choices, and this is sexy to people. This is sexy to women today. It's not sexy to men, but it's sexy to women. Women want the guy who has all the choices because they want to be so special, and they want to act like they got the highest value guy because this is nature, this is biology, and it sucks, it's sick, and it's fucked up, and it has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with anything quality as far as relationships goes. It's just a choosing process, and many people today will uplift that and act like that's how it's supposed to be, blah blah blah. But if you look at the results of that, what do? You get single mothers running around everywhere because these alpha guys, these high value guys like Future, the rapper Future, or all these NBA players who just knock bitches up and don't settle down with them. That hurts and damages our society. Not only that, there's nothing loving about that, right? And this is why we have women who are settling down for the beta provider when they hit 30, because they chased all the bad boys who didn't want to settle down with them, and they just wanted to get their dick sucked, and that's what happened. And then, eventually she just gets used and used and used by these alpha guys or whatever, these highly valued, sought after guys. And then eventually she settles down for some docile man. And then they try to make this narrative story up, which is what you just read up there. Like, oh, it really helped me find the right quality guy. No, you got used and fucked around a bunch, and that was fun. It felt good for a while. And then you settled down with some weak beta provider who just gave you a good quality lifestyle. That's all. You don't call that love. I don't call that love. I just call that a situationship. Like, yeah, he's got a nice house, he's got a steady job, I'm gonna settle down with this guy. Like, sorry, that's how relationships end up today. Is that quality? Is that ideal? I don't think so. All right, number 4, it damages them emotionally. This is one of the most important ones, and it's actually backed by science. It damages them emotionally. Women mostly enter into sexual relationships with guys on an emotional level, not just a physical level. So in order to want to have sex with the guy, they need an emotional connection first. They need to feel some kind of emotions for that guy. He needs to spike their emotions. He's sexy, he's attractive. You would think it's a physical level, but it's actually an emotional level, because guys, we can't just be physically attractive. We have to have something more than that. We have to have confidence. We have to have, there's a lot that we have to have that's more than just physical. So a buff guy, yes, he will attract girls, and yes, he'll get girls in bed, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to have an emotional connection with those girls. And a lot of times the girls will pass this guy up because they don't have there's no emotional spike there. He has to have confidence. He has to be suave. He has to have savoir-faire. He has to move in a certain way. He has to talk to them a certain way. He has to come across as high value and not just his physical. This is why you got a lot of buff guys who don't ever get laid, who don't ever get women, because they think, all I got to do is go get buff and then I can get women. And it helps a lot. Yes, they want buff guys, but on the other hand, like, you got to be able to talk to girls. You got to be able to interact with them. You got to be able to spike their emotions, get them attracted, make funny jokes, be cocky and funny, and all these different things that they want, these inner emotions. So women don't enter into sexual relationships only on the physical most times. They do sometimes, but most of the time it's not always on the physical. This is why a skinny 5'5" guy who dresses cool and studies PUA, pickup artistry, if he does his hair right and he wears the right jewelry, he's like a Johnny Depp. There's something that is mysterious and cool about him, and this is what women want. This is why if you read romance novels, it's all about the guy's mysteriousness, and he's so cool, he's this and that, and all about the way he carried himself, and woo-woo. Romance novels are kind of women's porn. There's no romance novels for men. Men just watch porn because we are visually, the way our brain is wired is visual. So we are visually attracted to sex. Women are emotionally attracted to sex. So in order to want to have sex, they need an emotional connection first. When this happens with many different men, their emotions get seared and damaged, like burnt. So their character and personality changes. They get attached to different men, but then they have to cut those men off and move on to the next guy because their lifestyle is slutting around. So they get that emotional spike, they get that emotional attachment, they have sex, it's all good, but then they lose interest or whatever because that's their lifestyle. They have the slut lifestyle, right? And when they do that, this damages them intrinsically. So they aren't really able to love any man very deeply. And it damages their ability to pair bond. This is actually scientifically proven, and the results can be found on Google. 5. And I would say that last one is the most important one because it's long term. When you do that, when you sleep around when you're young, whatever, it damages your ability to really be loyal and love one man. You loved a bunch of men, right? 5, they're more likely to be unloyal and hypergamous. I don't doubt that women can eventually settle down if the guy with the right house lifestyle comes along and they want to have babies and they're done sledding around because of STDs, unwanted pregnancies. Very common, right? Because once a girl gets an STD, she's pretty much done, unless she's just so sick and heartless that, you know, she doesn't, or she might not know. She might not get tested. But a lot of these girls are getting tested. If they do get an STD, then a lot of them lie about it. They lie and don't tell you they have STDs, and that's fucked up. But some of them have a conscience enough not to do that, right? Or they're scared that, because I think it's against the law in most states to withhold from the partner that you have an STD. It's a misdemeanor, I believe. So, you know, they can't sleep around as easily. Now that's got to become a discussion. Well, I got herpes. Well, I got HPV. I got genital warts. Sorry. Those are the most common ones. I think it's up to 50-60% of most people who are sexually active have either HPV, genital warts, or herpes, HSV too, genital herpes, right? It's very, 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 very common, and most people live with it because the symptoms aren't that bad. So, but a lot of these girls, when they get those STDs, they're like, okay, well, now I got to tell people, and that's it. I guess it's time to settle down now. Like, so that happens. But then also if they get pregnant, right? If they get pregnant, then it's like, well, now I don't want to sleep around because I want to be a good example for my son or daughter, whatever. So I got to change this lifestyle. Now I can't have the same lifestyle because now I got to. Some women do, but mostly they drop off. You know, some women do still sleep around after they've had kids, but most of it drops off. Most of that activity stops once they get pregnant, right? So this is very common. However, when you sleep around, you lose the ability to be loyal and love one man because she has damaged her emotions. It's very easy for her to not feel like any guy is special because she's had so many. The more guys you have, why would any of them be special, right? It's very difficult to find, oh, I just found that one. He was better than all the other guys. He's so special. I just love him. Like, I don't think it works like that. So it's easy for her to jump ship and hop on to the next guy who does something better than the last guy. And women are like this naturally anyways. Oh, I like this guy, but this guy's better. This guy makes more money. This guy's this, that. And this is why divorce is so prevalent. Divorce is at 50%. That's fucking crazy. Why? Because women are hypergamous. They don't choose men for the right reasons. And men are, the whole thing is from top to bottom is fucked up. Men are out competing for resources, and women are choosing the guys with the best resources. That's sick. That's not love. Nothing love about that, man. Eventually, the only thing that keeps her tied down is limitation from finances/environment, meaning she will choose the guy with the best nest or the best lifestyle and living situation. And if she feels like she can't get anybody better, that's it. She's done. That's it. Look, he's the best looking guy I could get. He's got the best personality I could find, and he's got the nicest house, and that's it. That's the apex. He's got the best lifestyle that she likes. That's the apex. That's it. Like she's found. She can't get any better. She knows that, so she settles down. That's it. And then she might be loyal in that situation because she doesn't want to lose it. But it's not because she loves the guy. It's not because he's the one. It's because it's just a lifestyle situation. That's all. People want to be happy and they want to live a good life and they want to share that life with somebody. So they find someone with the best lifestyle that he can bring to her, and then they call that, they slap a label of love on that. Well, sorry, that's not love. Love is, I love you through thick and thin. I love you if you're rich or poor. That's real love, right? Anyway, honestly, finally, why would any man who is a strong moral guy with a good character want a woman who slept with 20 to 100 guys? Why would you want 20 to 100 guys sloppy seconds? Why would you want that? It gets gross after a while. When you think about it, love and intimacy is supposed to be special, but our culture is pretty sick to the point of not cherishing things like that and sharing it with whoever. Yes, these women are just sharing their love with whoever. We have a culture that is okay with promiscuity. We have a culture that is okay with not being monogamous or loyal to one man that is special. That we have a culture that is now becoming more and more okay with the swinger lifestyle, polyamory, right? polygamy, even to some in Utah, right? Or basically polyamory, where a woman is, or a guy, people that they're just, this is my main person. I love this guy, he loves me, but we also kind of sleep around and we swing around and we have this lifestyle, and I love this other guy too, and just sick stuff, man. And they're trying to normalize this shit, and this is the narrative and the lies that they tell you, which is that, oh yeah, it totally made me better. Yeah, sleeping around made me better. It made me more apt to find what I really like and what I really want. No, you just wanted to get fucked. Sex is great. It feels great. It's fun. It's hot. It's raunchy. It's naughty. It's great. I understand that. We love it, but there's consequences. There's freaking consequences. You get your heart broke. You get attached to someone, and you have to detach your normality. You have to detach detach yourself away from morality. You have to detach yourself away from natural, normal emotions, which is that when we have sex with somebody, it's supposed to be in a love bond. It's supposed to be in an intimacy bond that's shared with somebody, because when we have sex with somebody, we become attached to them in our emotions. And if you don't, you have to become sick and jaded in order to not get attached with somebody. Now, you can have sex with somebody you're not that attracted to and somebody that you don't love, sure, and then in that case, you probably aren't going to get that attached to them or be that in love with them. But I don't know, man. It's hard to do. It's hard to do unless you're really not that attracted to that person. Unless that person's really not that attractive, it's hard to do, because when the way we are as humans, the way we're set up is, if we have sex with somebody, we are emotionally becoming bonded to that person. It's not just physical; it becomes emotional. The mental part is an aspect for the long-term relationship, but the emotional part is really attached to sex, and it's men too, but men to a lesser degree than women. The more time a man spends with a woman, the more emotionally attached he becomes to her. And the irony, it's kind of the opposite with women. The more women are with a guy, the less emotional they can become with him, which is kind of sick. But that's just my experience. Again, this right here, it took me 15 years to learn all this. 15 years. This isn't just a bunch of theory. This is experience I've had. I've dated probably, around a dozen girls. A few of them I've dated for 2-3 years each. I've had lots of sexual experiences. I know this because I've experienced women, not just theory, not just some MGTOW guy, not just some red pill, you just read a bunch of red pill stuff on Reddit, woo woo woo. No, this is 15 years in the dating game. This is 15 years dealing with women consistently and constantly, dating them, sleeping with them, whatever. I know women. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, that's that. Just want to say, don't believe this bullshit. Don't believe the narrative, because you're going to hear all kinds of shit like this in today's day and age. Women are going to tell you all kinds of lies. They're going to tell you, it's great, don't judge me, it's fine, because they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to go out and sleep around and take these risks and not have any consequences. That's just not kosher. It's just not the way it happens. It's not reality. They're lying. They lie by omission. They lie, and then they tell you these oh yeah, it's all good, yeah, because they want you to think that it's all good. It's really not. It's really not. And there's a lot that they're hiding there. There's a lot that they sweep under the rug. They got a lot of skeletons in their closet. And if they're really honest, they probably really don't love the guy they're with that much as they think, as much as they wanted to love those other guys, as much as they wanted to love that high value guy that they chased and they were so in love with. That's the real love. The guy that she was super in love with, the guy that she wanted so bad, but he was being a bad boy and woo woo whatever, and he was sleeping with other guys, he was sleeping with other girls, and she was chasing him. That's the guy she wanted to love. That's the guy that she wanted to be. And every girl's got that guy. But eventually, she realizes he's not going to love her, so she moves on, whatever. And then eventually she settles down with some guy because she settles. She's settling with some guy that she's not super in love with, that she's not fully in love with, because he's got a nice situation. He's got a nice house. And this is, he's got resources and he's got money. He can give her the lifestyle she wants, to have kids and things like that. This is female nature, unfortunately. And it sucks. And this is why many men don't think women can really be in love. This is why many men don't think women really have loyalty type of love in them, because they choose guys for their resources. They choose guys for the lifestyle that the guys give them. And that's sad. And it's something that I've always struggled with, something that I've always had a problem with. And one of the main reasons why I don't pursue women as much as a lot of other guys, or at least pursue women in the idea of love, because I've had all these experiences. I know that love is conditional. A female's love is conditional. I know that a female's love is based on environment, based on circumstances. It's not based on loyalty. It's not based on I'm going to be with you forever because I freaking love you and you're the one and I want to be with you. It's not based on that. It's based on your resources, based on the lifestyle you can provide for her. It's based on, how secure she feels for you, security. And people will argue and say that that's biology and that's nature. Okay, well, don't call it love because I don't want, it's not, and I don't want anything to do with that. But anyway, you guys know how I feel about that if you listen to my channel, but I just want to end there. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.